Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video, and today we're going to talk about the most underrated tool in Adobe Photoshop, which I think it's a very good tool to use as a finishing product for your designs. So let's get started. Now the tool I'm talking about, it's actually Camera Raw Filter. Now I think Camera Raw Filter it's not talked about enough, because Camera Raw Filter in my opinion is the best finishing touch for all your designs you have. Now here I have a design I did quite a few years ago where I didn't know about the Camera Raw. So today we're going to see if we can actually improve this design and put it a step above as it actually is. So when you work with Camera Raw, make sure you always have your layer to convert object as a smart layer. Now we have already, let's go rasterize, and here we are convert to smart object. Now we are going to go to filter, Camera Raw, and I'm going to go into detail on what every single thing here does. So starting off we have temperature, and this is actually do we want our design to be to have a cold feeling or a warm feeling. Since here we have a design for Christmas, let's go with a warm tone at the yellow, or we can go at the blues. We're going to go a bit over the yellow. Here we have it. And tint is actually moves with our shadows a bit and the whole image. So if you go to the purple, you see it's going to make every light and shadow purple, and the opposite for the green. We are going to go just a bit with the purple. When you have a yellow design, I think it's very good to go with purples because they match together very well. So we're just going to add a bit of purple, and let's go. We have exposure here. So this is basically our light, same thing that works with camera. So do we want to make it a bit brighter, a bit darker, or what do we want it? Now let's go to 0. Let's make it just a bit brighter here. Here we have contrast too. So contrast makes so the lights to appear more light and the darkness to appear more dark. So here we have it. Let's go just a bit with our contrast because I feel it's lacking on this image. We have highlights, same thing here. We are working with highlights, nothing new. Do not move too much with these numbers though when you are working. Just keep them minimal, at least for this part. Or when you actually need to really move them. That usually happens with shadows. If we want to remove all the shadows or add them and make them darker. So we're going to make them, since it's a happy image, we don't actually need that much darkness. So like this is fine. The whites and blacks, this is actually nothing new either. So we are going to move the white just a bit, and the blacks, let's add a little bit blacks because we removed them all. Then we have this part, which is very important. It's clarity. Clarity makes your image actually more detailed, same with texture here. So I think this, depending, like clarity can make your image appear more darker sometimes, so don't move too much with clarity. But with this one, you can actually move it because it makes your image look more crisp, and it just gives a better overall feeling. Now we have dehaze here. Dehaze actually takes your image as a whole, and it's like working with levels. It makes your image more whiter or darker. Dehaze in some cases can do a really good job. Then we have vibrance and saturation, nothing new either. We're gonna go up with vibrance a bit and saturation just a bit more. Let's go here. We have curves, same curves you have here. So the most important thing about curves is not keeping the blacks black and the whites white. What I mean by that, because in very rare times you are going to see a whole black, like a total black. So just go bit up with numbers and bit up here, just so you don't have those absolute blacks and whites. And details, you have of course sharpening, just to make your image sharper. And for noise reduction, if your image is good quality, do not use this one because it's going to lose a lot of details. My image is kind of old, but I think it's still, you can see some more details, so I'm going to not touch the noise reduction, same for the color reduction. And then we have our favorite. This is actually where you can be a lot creative, and we are talking about the color mixer. So at the color mixer we have hue, saturation and luminance, and each of these are up to you to see yourself how creative you are. Because we have reds here, we can make them even more pinkier, we can make them more orange, etc. Same with oranges. I'm going to go with greens. See, at greens you can either make them like a lot greener, and you can desaturate them a bit. This works with all the colors. For example, we can make the blues orange if we like, move the purples, move the magentas, etc. Same with saturation. Let's go a bit with our reds here, and I think the others, let's go with the blues, aquas, actually, luminance, stale. They actually, in the camera raw, you have all-in-one things. Instead of creating a lot of layers, you can actually do them in one layer. Then we have color grading. This too is one of the most important things too. Usually in the color grading, you want to move the midtones and shadows and leave the highlights as you have in the image. In the midtones, it's the overall feeling of the image. So because we are going for a warmer feeling, we are going to move our midtones. Like, you can move them with mouse and see where you like them. But since I'm going to go with warm tones, I'm going to leave them to the, let's see, around here, at the oranges. Same with shadows. You can make them green, but since we are going for a warmer feeling, we are going to go for shadows too at the orange spot. If you want to go, for example, at the beginning, you move them like this. Then you want to go at the middle, you just press them twice and it's good. Blending and balance depends on the work too. I usually leave them default here. I don't like to touch them. Sometimes see what you like, but usually leave them at their usual numbers. Optics, you have distortion, pretty obvious. You have vignette. Let's add a bit of vignette too. Geometry. As a geometry, you usually do not touch this part. This is, you rarely have a use for this one, but if you do, it just basically transforms your image and a lot of other stuff which you probably won't need them. To the effects, you have grain and again vignette. Let's use a little bit of grain here, just a small amount, and it's good. Calibration, same as the color mixer. You have tint, hue for reds, green, blue, etc. So you get the point. This is the camera raw. Now we're going to see the difference between the two images we made. And the reason why I said to make your layer a smart object is it's because if you miss somewhere or you want to change something, you can always just double click it and it will pop up the camera filter with all the settings you used. Let's press OK. Let's duplicate this and let's see the result. So this is the before and this is the after. I think this one is much better. If you don't like it, just reduce the opacity to whatever point you like. I'm just going to leave it, or maybe remove it at all, and you can see how much of a difference it makes actually at your final product. Here we have a tutorial I made in the previous video. The link is going to be in the description. This is with camera raw and this is without the camera raw. This is another tutorial I made. You can check it on the description, and I'm going to quick speed the camera filter so you can see the difference it's going to make. And here you have it. As you can see, this is the before, this is the after. Move around with opacity and you will get a really great result using this filter. So what do you guys think? Is this the most broken Photoshop tool or not? Write it down in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button, and see you next time.